Hey everybody, Yankee here. Today I want to take a little time and talk about a very controversial subject, one that has made people very mad at me in the past based on some of the videos I've done. And it seems to be something people just take very personally. And it's about 10 millimeter. People have asked me, hey Yankee, do you still think 10 millimeter sucks? I've gotten that question a few times this week. Have you changed your opinion about 10 millimeter? Do you think it's good now? Or does 10 millimeter still suck? But here's the thing. I could sit here and do a video about why 10 millimeter still sucks, because it still does in a way, and we'll discuss that at the end of the video. But here's the reality. I never thought 10 millimeter sucked. Never thought it was a bad round. Thought it was an awesome round. Still think it's an awesome round. The only reason people think I thought 10 millimeter sucked is because I made a video several years ago where I said 10 millimeter is a horrible choice for self-defense. If you're choosing your self-defense caliber, what you're going to carry at the time, when this was several years ago, like 10 years ago or more, you would have been limiting yourself a great deal if you chose 10 millimeter. So I didn't think it was a good choice. And that was because, like I said, you just didn't have options as far as the guns. If you chose to carry 10 millimeter, you were either going to end up carrying something really big, like a Glock 20, or something big and heavy, like a SIG P220 or a 5-inch 1911, and you might have found a revolver or two chambered in it. But if you were going to get the revolver, you would just get 357 Magnum. There'd be no reason to get 10 millimeter if that was your primary carry gun. So I just thought 10 millimeter was not a good choice when it comes to your carry caliber, because you'd be limited in the types of guns you could choose from, and you would either be choosing a gun that's just too big and heavy to carry, like I was saying, the SIG P220, or just big and bulky like the G20, and you would end up not carrying it. It'd be at home when you needed it. So I didn't think it was a good choice. Now, there were things around like the Glock 29, but at the time, I just couldn't recommend the Glock 29. I'd had 5 or 6 of them and had more failures with that gun than I had with any other gun I've ever owned, because I just don't think it handled the 10 millimeter very well. There was a lot of frame flex and a lot of failures. So wasn't happy with it. So that was my whole point. It was that if you choose 10 millimeter, you're probably not going to find a gun you want to carry or that you should carry. That was my point. Not that the round itself was bad. The round itself is awesome. The round itself can almost reach 357 Magnum levels. And that's out of a semi-auto. That's impressive. 10 millimeter is an impressive round. And I have several 10 millimeter guns. I have 1911s, I have SIGs, I have several. I even have some 10 millimeter revolvers just to have it. I think the 10 millimeter is a great round. Always have. That's never been a topic of debate for me. I've always thought it was great. Still do. Just like I said, thought it was limiting back in the day. Now, is that the case now? No, that's not the case so much now. Now, there's other guns available. You can still get those big old guns if you want them, but if you're choosing a carry gun, I think there's options out there that people can actually make work as a carry gun. Much easier. You can get the M&Ps in 10 millimeter now. You can get the Springfield Armories in 10 millimeter now. The XDMs, very small profile. You can get the FNs in 10 millimeter. And even the smaller Glocks like the 29 now have been changed to where they're a lot better. I've seen a lot better things going on with them now than they used to be. They've adapted to the round, they strengthened the polymers, etc. So you got a lot more options now, and some of the options you used to have are better now. So now it's not as bad a choice. Now it's still going to limit you some. If you're choosing 9 millimeter, you're going to have every option in the world, from things that you can slip into your front pocket to, guns that are giant and hold a ton of rounds that are easy to control. You'll have every option you can imagine. 10 millimeter is still more limited, but it's nowhere near as limited as it used to be. So it's a far better choice for self-defense now. Now, there is still a problem with it, and I touched on that in another video, and it's that manufacturers really load it down. A lot of it you see is just so weak compared to what it could be. Now, a lot of that, when people say, oh, the 10 millimeter is so weak, it's because they're buying the wrong ammo. Here's a little hint. If you're buying it in boxes of 50 or bulk that come in boxes of 50 or more, it's probably not the best ammo. If you're going to look for the really hot stuff, you're probably going to be looking at boxes of 20, and it's probably going to be expensive. You know, you can always buy the cheap stuff to practice with and buy the expensive stuff, the hot stuff to carry. And a lot of people are like, well, but the difference in the recoil, it's not going to matter if you have to use your gun in self-defense. You're not going to notice it, trust me. You're not even, if you're lucky, remember pulling the trigger. So it is available in hot rounds, but they are few and far between. And even the hot ones sometimes aren't loaded as hot as they could be. Like you'll see a lot of, like even Underwood, you'll see that the similar size 357 Magnum is doing, 1,580 feet per second. And the 10 millimeter is only doing 1,230. Or it could be doing way more. It could be doing 1,400, 1,450. And getting even closer to that 357 mag performance. But they don't. And some people wonder why this is. Well, I can't say definitively, but the reason I think that they do this, and this is the one reason that they still kind of suck, is I think they load it down because they think most people shooting semi-automatics don't want something as powerful as a 357 Magnum. They don't want that recoil. And I think the manufacturers worry about wear and tear on the guns. If you'll pay attention, some manufacturers actually warn against shooting certain grain weights and certain loadings of 10 millimeter in their guns because they can be loaded so hot that it might not be totally safe in their gun. So they put that out there just as, a liability thing. So I think that's why a lot of manufacturers load it down. It's not just that a lot of people are making the mistake of thinking range ammo and bargain ammo is the same thing as self-defense ammo. It's that a lot of manufacturers don't think that even in the good stuff, that they want it to be quite as powerful as 357 Magnum. Because let's face it, 357 Magnum is slappy. It is a snappy, slappy, pounding round. It hurts your hands. If you shoot a lot of it, you're going to have sore hands the next day. I don't care who you are. I know some of you will be like, hey, don't beat me, I'm a big man. I'm 6'1", 215, 220 pounds. And I used to be young and fit, and 357 Magnum would still make my wrists hurt. Even the biggest guys still feel pain. So I think a lot of manufacturers don't think that semi-auto shooters want that much power. And plus, since a lot of semi-auto shooters try to tune their guns to be as fast as possible and stuff like that, if you did that with the powerful 10 millimeter round, you're going to run into a lot of failures, probably damage to your gun. So I think they load it down a little bit just so people don't hurt themselves or don't find out, oh, I didn't want a gun as powerful as 10 millimeter. I didn't want a gun as powerful as a 357 Magnum in a gun that actually the slide reciprocates and all this other stuff. That's a lot of kickback that I wasn't wanting. So I think that's the main problem with 10 millimeter now is they load it down. Sometimes not much hotter than 40. But you can find hot stuff. There is good hot 10 millimeter on the market. But you're not going to get it cheap, and you're not going to get it in bulk usually. Because unless you're like, I don't know, Elon Musk or something, you're probably not going to be able to afford it in bulk. But it's out there. So you can get it. It's just harder. It's easier to get 357 Magnum that's loaded to its potential. Because when they load 357 Magnum from the factory, they know they're probably shooting this in a revolver or a rifle. So they're not worried about it. And they know, hey, 357 Magnum shooters know what 357 Magnum feels like. So they don't worry about it as much. 10 millimeter, not so much. So that's the only problem with 10 millimeter now, is that it is harder to find hot loads, and you are slightly more limited in the gun you can choose for self-defense. You don't have as many options, but these days you have some good options, and you definitely have way more options than you used to. So no, 10 millimeter does not still suck. Actually, 10 millimeters never sucked. And the actual gun manufacturer market is making more use of 10 millimeter now, giving you more options. They're doing a better job. Now we just need the manufacturers of the ammo to start thinking we're grown-ups and that we can actually handle the hot stuff.